Edition of Gombe's transformative journey. I'm so glad to have you join us. Today, I have the privilege and honor to be speaking with the Chief of Staff to Gombe State Governor. He will be telling us about so many developments and transformative innovations in Gombe. We would also be delving into the achievements of the President Bola Tinubu at the federal level. Sit back and relax as we take this transformative journey together. My name is Landry Adeyemi. During the week, Governor Yahaya flagged off the 2024 vaccination exercise, targeting over 3 million livestock in Gombe State against contagious diseases. Governor Yahaya explained that bolstering modern animal husbandry, food security, and commerce are some of the benefits of the vaccination campaign, aside from controlling the spread of anthrax.
Since 2019, we have been practicing this, and we shall continuously do so in order to ensure that our livestock, just like the other sectors of the agricultural sector of our economy, the livestock sector is taken care of and is doing its own or giving its own contribution to the GDP and the economy of Gombe State and Nigeria at large. I want to thank Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for specifically establishing a Ministry of Livestock Development at the federal level. And with it, we'll be able to ensure that there is synergy between the state, the local governments, and indeed our local communities, so that the federal government will give the guide as we deliver in our livestock sector and the agriculture sector, so that we guarantee the food security of this great country.
Also during the week, the Minister for Water Resources was in Gombe to inspect the Dadinkwa Dam after rumors of the facility's imminent collapse. After touring the facility and consulting with experts, the minister is confident that the hydroelectric dam is safe and in proper work condition.
I want to assure the public that the facility is in safe hands. It's at international standards and it's very safe. Safe in terms of its operations, safe in terms of its structural maintenance, and safe in terms of security. As you can see, we have security on the ground, and in terms of its functionality, it is very, very safe.
Gombe State government also announced some major partnerships and infrastructure projects after the State Executive Council meeting.
Approved the immediate release of the sum of 575 million naira, being 30% counterpart contribution for the implementation of Balanga Dam Small Hydropower project. This project is to be funded by European Union and state government.
Council approved the Gombe State monitoring and evaluation policy framework, for which will help the state to be able to measure and also assess performances across MDAs and of course across projects and even across staff members and even the ESCO. Key performance indicators will be utilized.
Welcome back. So, as I told you earlier, we'll be speaking with the Chief of Staff to Gombe State Governor. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. It's such a pleasure always speaking to you. How's it been, sir, since the last time we spoke?
Well, thank you, Larry. It's been very tough, very hectic, but so far so good. We're doing well.
But you are very up to the task. I've noticed that there seems to be a new development almost every week in Gombe. Something positive is happening, something good is happening, maybe a new construction, a new project is being flagged off, or a new project is being commissioned. Or, yes, like every other state, Gombe has its own challenges, but it seems like we're making lots of progress, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I think we're doing a lot of progress. We are doing very, very well, and I think at the end of the day, our records will speak for us.
The last time we spoke, you told me and you shared with us about the mega projects in Gombe. One of them is the Mega Park, which has been named after the former governor of Gombe State, former governor in Hassan Dankwanbo. What's the state of the project now?
Well, I can confidently tell you that the project is 100% completed. It was formally opened for business on the 27th of May this year, and all the parks within Gombe Metropolis have moved into that ultra-modern mega park. So all our transportation activities are now into a single hub. And you could notice that the streets are cleaner, the congestions are not there anymore, and the park is up and running effectively for the benefit of our people.
So that means that all the major parks, that is the Gombe Line Park, the Bauchi Park, then the Duku Park, are all converging in one location.
Exactly.
Well, what benefit would that give for the transport system, especially travelers who are coming into the town? Can you give us the advantage of having everybody in one location?
It's very, very simple. Before now, we had multiple parks, like you rightly mentioned. And we also had even private parks operated by individuals and unions. It had a lot of security concerns. We had a lot of security reports from the security agencies. And also, you need to streamline some of these activities, particularly with the current security challenges. We thank God Gombe is much more secure than most other states, but we will not sit back and watch things degenerate. So we have everybody there centralized in one location, and you have that mega park is a state-of-the-art infrastructure. You have everything from a hotel. You have a hotel there. You have places of worship. You have adequate toilets. You have shops. So it's a one-stop shop for transport activities in Gombe. So it's like once you get in there, wherever you're going, whatever destination you're going, you get vehicles that will take you there and bring you back. And it operates 24 hours a day with full security.
That's beautiful. So travelers can have a place that they know is a central location where they can move from. And for those who come in the evening, they can also lodge.
Yeah.
But the locations where they were moved from, that is Gombe Line moving from that central area around Cross and Bauchi Park, which is expansive land. What does the government intend to do with that?
Well, if you remember the last time we spoke, where the Bauchi Motor Park was, if you notice the work that is going on there right now, it's going to be our designated pre-arms zone. Unfortunately, Gombe has been in existence for about 28 years now, and no government has found it deep, sensitive to create lasting structures for the arms of government. The current judiciary complex we have, it's in a state of dilapidation. It is not befitting of a state like Gombe. The same thing goes for the State House of Assembly and the State Secretariat too. Most of our ministries are in rented apartments. So under the visionary leadership of Governor Yahaya, that large expanse of land is going to accommodate the judiciary complex, which is going to be a state-of-the-art complex that can compete anywhere in the world with full facilities. Then we're going to have the State House of Assembly complex on one end of the area. And then at the other far end, there's an existing state secretariat, which is grossly inadequate, housing only 2 ministries and the office of the head of service. There's going to be a large expansion that will be done there, which will now cater as the state secretariat. So virtually that large expanse of land that you see is going to be the pre-arms zone, where you have the institutions of government being there.
That would also mean that it's also a way to create efficiency and effectiveness and collaboration between the different arms of government. Of course, the civil service being in one location, sending files, operations, actually in areas that maybe 2 or 3 ministries have to collaborate. It seems to be more seamless than what it is now. And I think the government would also be saving money from rent, because I learned that many of the ministries are in private residences that government is paying significant rent for every year. But how has this affected the civil service?
Well, like you rightly said, efficiency is at its lowest ebb, and it takes longer to get things done. And particularly, I'll give you an example. The House of Assembly is in one end of town, at the bypass,
Yes.
while the House of Assembly Service Commission is somewhere where Gombe the State University is at two extreme ends of town. So you don't seem to get any efficient service or get work done properly. Or if they want things done at the head of office of the head of service, or even coming here to the office of the secretary to the government, or even the government house. So it's like the man hours you use traveling from one location to the other is simply a complete waste. So it's going to be a more efficient and better government by the time we finish that project.
But still talking about the 3 arm zone, recently there was a flag off of certain road projects, and that is where it's called BAP4 layout,
Yes.
and the special development zone, where some lands were revoked and they're going to be reallocated. Can you share with us the vision behind that? Because I think that is also very close to the 3 arm zone. What's the vision about remodeling that part of town?
Well, there's a long history that has to do with BAP4. BAP4 is one of the districts that has been in existence for the last 40 years. And successive governments have not done anything in terms of encouraging development in that area. And you had a lot of encroachments, places designated for public amenities such as police stations, places of worship, healthcare centers, etc., were all encroached, and there was a complete deviation from the original plan of that area. And what you had was, you had double allocations, encroachment, and all sort of shady deals that were going on in that location. And more important, there's a fundamental challenge on the area of gully erosion, which, if government does not intervene and do something, it's going to consume the whole area. And then at the other extreme end, you had a slum that is already coming up. That's where you call Uro Liman. Uro Liman, actually.
Uro Liman,
yes. Exactly. So you had that problem coming up. And coincidentally, you notice that Gombe is growing bigger and bigger. The influx of people coming into Gombe is getting bigger and larger by the day. And that is the only GRA left in Gombe. And government felt, look, we need to sanitize what is going on in that location. So what the government did is a redesign, recertification, and reallocation of that area. The whole area is over 1,700 hectares. It's a very, very large expanse of land.
Yes.
So it's really a way of a new urban renewal program for Gombe State, which the governor is very, very passionate about. And he keeps saying, if we don't streamline some of these activities, if we don't create areas, districts that have amenities that are of international standard, where anybody can come into Gombe, invest and live, you know, in a very, very decent manner, will all be surrounded by slums, which is what is going on in Nainawa, like you mentioned, and all the other locations. So basically, that is it. And the committee that is saddled with that responsibility is going to start work today. And nobody, actually, the fundamental issue there is most of these land titles, either they've not been paying ground rents, or there have been serious encroachments. So the governor had to do a complete redesign of the area. We will have road network, the erosion control project. There are going to be a project covering the erosion control of about 7.5 kilometers in order to safeguard that area. The road network in the whole district is going to be about 15 kilometers. And that is why the governor that day designated and renamed that location to Shehu Abubakar District. So it's going to be
after
a new
the
Gombe.
late emir.
After the late emir of
respected.
Exactly.
I have fond memories of him. Just a brief story. When I came to Gombe newly, I was really scared because that was 2011, and That was the peak of the Boko Haram insurgency.
Yes.
And I met him and he told me, "You're my son, nothing will happen to you. Just go and relax. If you have any problem or you're bored in the evening, just come to the palace and come and play." And that's the kind of man he is. So it's a big honor to name it after him. But now, talking about welfare and such nice men, what about the civil servants in Gombe? What's the plan of the governor for them? Thinking about minimum wage and the challenges government is facing in raising revenue and co. Is the government committed to minimum wage?
100%. Even before the last negotiation the NLC had with the federal government and the eventual signing of the bill on the minimum wage by Mr. President, Governor Muhammad Yahaya has always said that he is committed to paying workers a decent and living wage. And I remember in those days that we were talking about 30,000, he said he feels even 150,000 is not enough for a decent wage for a worker. So we are 100% committed. What the governor and the state government is doing, we are waiting for the consequential adjustments from the federal government for us to also key in and go ahead and implement. So for minimum wage, we are fully on board.
Okay. So once the federal government negotiation and the consequential adjustments is ready, Gombe State is committed and the governor is committed to implementing this minimum wage.
100%, I can assure you that.
Okay. But what do you think about the commitment of the president and the presidency to also engage labor in a kind of goodwill negotiation that led to this arrangement? Because this administration was able to have this agreement in less than 15, 16 months. And some administrations will spend 6 years, 7 years and would not agree on a minimum wage. What do you think about the labor relationship between the federal government and the labor unions?
Well, I think it's very, very good and very cordial. And Larry, I'll tell you something. We have a president that is a core Democrat and a president that is a listening president. And you could see there has never been a time when this issue of minimum wage has come up and discussed with government that you had this kind of robust and seamless negotiation. And this is because of the commitment of the president and the belief that the president is very, very much dedicated to the welfare of the people. So this, I'm not surprised. The president is a core Democrat. He believes in the people. He believes in the welfare of the people. And I think that is even why he decided to run for president, to make the lives of Nigerians better.
But thinking about the economy, it's been challenging. We can't deny that. Yeah. But the move of the president, and I know this might not be your specialty, but the move of the president to allow the Dangote refinery to access crude oil in Naira so that his investment and the business would not collapse. And also his investment drives going to China, going to France, trying to woo investors to come in, trying to improve the ease of doing business in the country, trying to encourage investors, and also liberalizing the stock exchange, the exchange rate. And do you think all these things will pay off in the future?
Most definitely. Most definitely. You see, we are blessed at a very difficult time in the history of this country.
Really? Yeah. Blessed and difficult.
Blessed with the kind of president that we have, but in a very, very difficult and challenging period.
Okay.
And some of these issues that we are facing today are issues that have been due to neglect by previous administrations over the last 30 years. And you now have a president that is courageous enough, honest enough to take difficult decisions. That's the facts. I know a lot of people might not agree with me, but these are the fundamental facts and the truth on the ground. President Tinubu came on board at a very, very difficult period. And when past leadership were playing the ostrich, we were not facing our problems squarely and being honest with Nigerians and telling them, this is the problem we're in and these are the decisions we need to take. And when you have a problem lingering for like 30, 40 years, everybody, brushing it aside and just finding a way to get over with it and leave without taking the right decisions.
With the cost of the issues.
Exactly, and then building a sustainable future for the country, then you have a problem. But you have a man who understands the problems, knows what the problems are, and is willing to take that difficult decision. Larry, I will assure you one thing. In the next year, a year and a half, max 2 years, Nigerians will be better off. Nigerians will praise this great man for being the kind of leader he is today. And you just rightly said it. He's been going all over the world trying to see how best we could get out of the present economic situation that we are in. The Dangote refinery issue, you could see. That takes a great leader to move in. And this is somebody who's coming from the private sector. He knows what it means to run a business. So basically, this is the home truth, and we just have to accept it, but then we must support and pray for Mr. President. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
You believe that it's a teething stage, or it's the painful stage before, like a labor stage before the delivery of the child.
Exactly.
That Nigerians in the next 12 to 15 months will start reaping the benefits.
Exactly.
But are you sure that it can translate not just to the empowerment of the wealthy and the upper class, to basic things that Nigerians care about, like the cost of food, the cost of transportation, the cost of living? Would these things go down?
You see, when you look at the social economic policy of the president, it is tailored towards the downtrodden, towards the common man. No government has brought out so many initiatives that is taking care of the ordinary man like this government. The amount of resources that has gone into one scheme or the other in order to uplift the sufferings of the common man are unprecedented. The amount of resources, including food items, palliatives, that have gone to states from the federal government, including additional funds, it has never been done in the history of this country. So this is a president that knows the sufferings of the ordinary people. And I assure you, it will be better.
What's the security strategy in Gombe? And what are we also doing to improve this vis-a-vis Operation Atara?
Thank you. You see, Larry, when you have a situation that we have now, a very, very challenging situation in terms of security, you need to go back to the drawing board. The governor, by the grace of God, lived most of his life in Gombe. And he has this background and knowledge of what it used to be in the good old days, what Gombe used to be. And upon becoming governor, he kept saying that we need to go back to the drawing board. Security is everybody's business. And particularly the ward heads, the village heads, the district heads, the emirs, they are the key to security, including obviously religious leaders and other community leaders. And in those days, even when we were also young, any new person that comes into town gets to go and get registered at the residence or office of the ward head or the village head or the district head. So each and every person that comes into a community, there's that record of the person. So the governor now decided that, look, it's not only government and the security agencies, the traditional institutions also play a very, very vital role in this issue of security. Like they say, security is everybody's business. So that is the idea behind the expanded Security Council meetings. But more than that, the governor also created a second layer. The same Security Council meeting we have at the state level, you have it at the local government level, and then you have it at the emirate level. So each and every emir and chief also has his own Security Council meeting, and they give, I think twice a month, They send reports to the local government sends reports to the state. So basically, it's a new architecture that the governor decided, which the community gets involved in security.
It is always a pleasure. It seems like you have your hands on all the buttons in Gombe. You have a in-depth knowledge of what is happening in almost every sector. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
The Chief of Staff to Gombe State Governor, Abubakar Inuakari. You do not like the title, so I'm skipping the titles for today. But I'll give you the title, the Matawali Nafada. I'm sure you'd accept that.
No, I'll accept that.
The
Thank
Matawali
you.
Nafada.
Thank you.
Proud son of Nafada.
Thank you, sir.
That's been our interview with the Chief of Staff today. It's always a pleasure speaking with him. And that's our offering on this episode of Gombe's Transformative Journey. Do join me again same time next week for another episode. But if you miss any of our episodes, you can watch it again on our social media platforms. I am Landry Adeyemi.